big part of what we do and how we do it. And that was shared in that last newsletter. And she was just talking about what an interesting thing it is about how we operate. Always, yes, this is Ruby Lowe, always giving feedback. So anyway, we're going to play with that a little bit, you giving yourself feedback in a way internally as we practice today. So just like we always do, let's start in child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. Come on up and in here, Chuck. Settle your hips back to your heels and bring your arms forward and bring your forehead down to your mat. And begin the process of your breathing. In our style of yoga, which is called Baptiste Yoga, we do a flowing style of yoga called Vinyasa Yoga. And we have 3 practices and techniques. So we have the asana, the poses you're doing, meditation, it's incorporated in what you're doing today. And of course, that's just sitting down and meditating. And then inquiry. And that's where feedback comes in. Start to listen for people around you breathing. Start to listen for Ryan at home and Ryan, you here to us and anybody out there who will be practicing this practice. Make your connection through your breathing. So inquiry is the action of asking a question, not for the end result of an answer, but for the end result to discover something new. On your next inhale, bring your body up into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, body in the shape of the upside down letter V. You can bend and straighten your knees. Start exploring your toes, your feet, your hands. Keep your breath going. When we give one another feedback in trainings, or Ruby may give me feedback at the end of this class, or Kaiwan who's taking training, or Chuck who is taking it, we tend to live inside of a framework called keep, stop, start. Look to the front of your mat and step forward. When you get to the front of your mat, inhale and lift up halfway. So make your back long and flat. In fact, stay right here and breathe. Feet hip width distance, maybe hands on your thighs. Keep working on making your back long and flat. So while you're breathing and you're holding this pose, the asana, you're also in an inquiry about, do I like the pose like this? Can I discover something new in the pose? And so you might be giving yourself feedback. You might be saying to yourself, well, keep on breathing. That pattern's really good. And you might even say to yourself, well, stop letting your belly just hang, make it stronger. So keep and stop. And then you might say, start squeezing your legs like they're going to slide together. You could do this with your body right now. Squeeze your legs like they're going to slide together and see if that starts to make your arches in the pit of your belly even stronger. So whenever we do feedback, keep doing something, stop doing something, start doing something else. Take another breath, and as you exhale, press down into the ground, come all the way up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead, look up and stretch up, and then bring your hands into prayer position and pause. Set an intention for your practice. Our focus will be on feedback. Give 3 ohms to begin the practice. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up for the ceiling. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Get the long, flat back. Exhale, step back, high plank to low plank. Then inhale, straighten your arms, lift your chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hi, Steph and Allison. 3 breaths here. You all are welcome to turn your cameras on and I'll come over and help you out with your practice, or you're welcome to keep them off. That's it. Now, one more time. Breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, step or jump up to your hands. Once you get there, inhale, get the halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Press your feet down. Stand up, stretch up, look up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway, low plank on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Stretch the front of your body. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Breathe in. Steady breath out. Deep breath in. Start to bring more steadiness to your breath. One more time, inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Press down with your feet. Stand up and look to the ceiling. Reach for it. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Drop into your low plank. Now, strong legs, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and you breathe here. From where you are right here in your practice, is there anything for you to keep on doing? You think it's just gone really well and you want to keep that going through your whole practice? One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, jump. Halfway lift. What are you keeping on? Fold. Inhale, stand up. Maybe it's keep on breathing, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Steady breath out. 2 more times. Big breath. Fill up. And steady exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees. Spring up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Last time. Stand up. Not only stretch high, but stretch back. And then fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. You've got 3 breaths to work together here. You might want to start listening for everyone breathing around you and melting together with them. Once more, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lifts, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back into your heels and reach, then fold to the floor. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Look up to the ceiling. Reach up to the ceiling in this lunge. Warrior 1. Then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward and lunge. Back foot flat. Look up, stretch up, reach. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Maybe you take a deep breath in, open up your mouth, and have a sigh. 2 more breaths. You can stop whatever thinking you were doing or worrying, and then just start breathing. Exhale and empty. Come up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose, sit and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward lunge. Warrior 1. Reach your arms overhead. Stretch. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Up dog. Inhale. Stretch your lungs. Down dog. Exhale. Left side step and lunge. Look up. Reach up. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. We're going to take 1 more round of this sun salutation B. Let's do 1 more inhale. Take the exhale, look forward, move up to your hands. Half lift, forward fold. Here's our last sun B. Squat down and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Up dog, down dog, right side step forward and lunge. Anchor your feet, lift up and stretch. Hands down, chaturanga, empty your breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side. Step forward, lift up, hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. 1 more breath here. Stay right here in this pose. Raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee, and flip the pose over till you have 2 feet on the floor. And once you do, you can press with your feet and with your left hand, but reach up with your right hand. See if instead of your left shoulder shrugging to your ear, when you press away, you make a lot of space between your shoulder, neck, and ear. 1 more breath. Side plank. Put your right hand down, face this long left side of your mat and stack your body up. And then bring the edge of your bottom foot, your right foot, onto the mat. Press down with your right hand. And then stretch long apart between the edge of the foot on the floor and the armpit of your right side. Long body. High plank to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Raise your left leg in the air, bend your knee, and flip the pose over. Anytime you feel like you can't keep a smooth and steady breath, take a sigh and let there be a clearing and a reset that happens from taking the sigh. It will automatically happen with that kind of an action. Sometimes it's time to just stop the buildup of pressure when you're doing the work. Take the sigh, empty out, and then start the smooth breath again. One more breath. Left hand down, side plank. Stack your body up. Once you get this all set up, that's it, Leslie. Now squeeze your shoulders to your ears and move them to the back of your body. Instead of your body kind of caving forward, open it up. Look up, stretch up, reach up. Then with grace, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to crescent lunge. Different from the warrior with the flat back foot, now on the ball of your back foot, and square your hips and lunge down. Once you get down there, fire up your back leg and then stretch up out of your leg so the legs stay deep, but you reach up. Reach up and go back. Keep lifting at the pit of your belly and go back. Deep lunge now, Kai. When everything else all set, bend your front knee more and bring your knee forward to the street. Little forward, hands to prayer and twist. Bring your left elbow over to your right knee and anchor it there. Once it is settled there, activate your back leg so that when your hamstrings on your back thigh are pressing up, your left hip lifts up a little bit too. And then it's from your heel to your head, your whole body stretching long. One more breath here. Stay as you exhale, then reach up to crescent lunge and open up to warrior two. Open your feet wide. Your front foot and front knee, point them straight forward while your back foot is either parallel to the back short side of the mat or angles in. That's it. Stretch your arms and tilt to extended side angle. You can reach for the floor, reach for the ceiling, so stretch long and breathe. Bend your knee more, Greg. Down there more, right there. Now hold that pose. Stay right here and breathe a steady, easy breath. Once you put your body physically in the edge of the pose for you today. One more breath in, one more breath out, hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now your left side, step forward. Lunge, arms overhead. So crescent lunge. That means you're on the ball of your back foot, not on the big toe side, but all 5 knuckles into the ground, heels on top of your knuckles. So heel over a little bit more to your right, Ruby. Yes. I know that feels weird. It's not what always happens. Whenever you do a new thing, it's going to feel a little weird. It's going to seem odd to you because it isn't what you've been doing. It's going to be a little off. You can take the same little shift, Lena. You're right there and just move your heel over a little more, just like that. You'll feel it brings your hip forward. Okay, hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Anchor it and breathe. Greg, fire up that back leg. If you would like to open your arms in this pose, you should go ahead and do that now. 3 more breaths. Steady, strong, smooth, steady exhales. You've got 1 more. Breathe in, steady, breathe out. Reach up to the crescent lunge. Open to warrior two. Organize your feet. At first, you might be inclined to take a little short step, but try a long one. Bend your front knee a lot. Yeah, at the hip, Ryan, make the move and move your knee more to the back, like toward the bed and away from the dresser. Yeah. Tilt for extended side angle. Left hand to the floor, right arm to the ceiling. And then you want to set this up so that your body is stretching from fingertips to fingertips, back foot to fingertips. One more breath, you reach, and then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take just one breath in and have an exhale, and then move up to your hands. At the front, halfway lift, forward fold. Chair twist, sit back into your heels, bring your hands to prayer and press them. And then twist, left elbow to your right knee. Now notice this about your body. If there's a sense of like your hips tilting or swinging to one side, you won't get the same kind of length in your spine. If you can, imagine your hips moved back and they touched a wall behind you and sat there. And then if that's so, that your hips pulled back, then you pull your chest forward to the front of your mat. So that what you end up doing is continuing to lengthen this back left side of your body. Keep stretching your back left side as you turn and breathe. One more breath. Reach up to chair, forward fold. Open your feet hip width distance, hook your big toes and just stretch down and let yourself recover. Become restored. In our feedback, a big part of it is initially when you receive feedback, is to not automatically in your head shift into, they don't like me, everything's wrong about me, I'm bad at this, I'll never do well at this, and instead to be able to just listen. A lot of us drift right into making up reasons for why it was the way it was. So in this pose, at this stage of your practice, what would you give yourself to keep doing in your practice? Stop doing in your practice, or start doing in your practice. Release your toes, chair pose. Then hands come to prayer and we're twisting out to the left. So right elbow, left knee. A lot of times for me, what I would tell myself is to start keeping my attention on my breathing. Keep it steady. Between poses, in poses, when my heart's racing, when I'm at ease, just keep a steady breath. 2 more breaths here. Steady on the exhale. One more time, inhale. Smooth exhale. Reach up to chair. Forward fold. Gorilla pose. You slide your hands underneath of your feet if they'll go down that far, right in front of you, or you can rest them on a block if your lower back doesn't love this deep forward folding. Shake your head out. And keep on breathing. Okay, finish up this breath. Then we'll take crow pose. I'm loving it on the back lately. So yes, you can do it hands down. You know that one. You can do the goddess squat. You could do it on your back, curled up, diamond-shaped legs, tail curling, chest curling. Every time I exhale, I'm going to just drop my shoulders, curl more at my bottom ribs. Every time I exhale, I'll press my knees into my elbows and my elbows into my knees. The whole time, my deep core is working. It's surprisingly harder than you think, isn't it? One more breath and then get to chaturanga. If you're on your back, hug your knees and rock through to downward facing dog. Get there however you are from the positions that you're in. Once you're in the downward facing dog, take a couple of breaths. One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees. Move on up to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Press your feet down, come rolling up and stretch your arms overhead. We'll take eagle pose. Wrap your right arm under the left and cross your forearms. Squat, right leg over the left. Now you can always take these balancing poses lying down on your back the way you see Ruby Lou doing on her mat. Once you get yourself into the pose, keep your gaze fixed on one point and your breath steady from this pose until the end of all the balancing poses. So with your gaze set and your breath steady, step out on an inhale and stretch your arms up, then left arm under, left leg over, squat and twist. Steady, steady breathing. Sit deep in the pose. Keep on sitting deep. Start lifting the pit of your belly into your body and up to your chin so your sides get long and lean. Step out, arms overhead, right side, second set. Right arm under, Right leg over. Squeeze your arms and your legs together. So arms to arms, legs to legs. And then sit your legs down deeper. And lift your arms up a little higher. Good. Step out, stretch up, left side, arm under, squat, left leg over. Steady breathing. Yeah, you got it. And then squat if you can. And if today you're just learning to like be in the cross legs, you can keep it straight. That's all right. Then just stay straight like you are. Yeah, that'll work. One more breath. Step out, arms overhead. Keep your gaze. Hug your right knee into your chest. From here, eyes on one spot, right knee into your chest. Hold on to your big toe or the edge of your foot and extend your leg forward. If that's just a no-go, using a strap will help, or hold on to your knee. Yeah, eyes are just on one spot, and that'll help you balance. Keep your foot or your knee and open your leg to the right. Look and reach to the left. Keep on breathing. Hug your knee into your chest. Stretch open wide for airplane pose. You can take that crossbody, Ruby, maybe. Chest up like you do an upward facing dog. And then from head to foot, stretch. Hands to prayer position, left arm down, right arm up. Half moon pose. Reverse half moon is an option here. Activate your lifted leg by pressing your foot back, straightening your knee. Stretch as high as you can and look up. Then forward fold and hang. You could sway your arms and sway your body from side to side. Forward fold, just hang down. Let yourself sway from side to side. And then get ready, come on up to standing. We'll do the left side. Hug your left knee into your chest. Stand up tall. Hold on to your foot and extend your knee and keep standing tall. And just let your body adapt to the pose. You can take it on like that on the floor. Keep on breathing. Just give yourself a chance to feel what you feel here. Open your leg to the left. Look and reach to the right. Here's this if you might like to use that. Steady breathing. Bring your knee forward. Hug your knee into your chest. Then open up airplane pose. Hug. You got it. Stretch. Now, can you press your standing foot down and from that have the pit of your belly lift? Like the weight of your torso comes up off the top of your thigh bone. One more breath. Hands to prayer, half moon. Right hand down, left arm up. Stretch here. There you go. Reach with your feet and with your hands. That's it. Stay with it. Keep on breathing. Let yourself reach into the pose. A little softness with your standing knee. That's it, Kaiwan. Nice, Lena. Look up and stretch. Yes, one more breath. For everyone, forward fold and hang. Come all the way up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Right arm then goes behind you with your palm facing out. You gonna do this in tabletop, Ruby, or standing? Yeah. Hold your ankle from the inside. Leslie's keeping an eye on those and trying it out. Left arm in the air. And then start stretching and pressing back and forward, up and down. Back and forward, up and down. And then steady breath. So as much as a person receiving feedback has to open up to the possibility of learning something new, there's a position for the person giving feedback to take as well. Take another breath and come on down. Left arm back, hold your left ankle from the inside, right arm in the air. Stretch down and stretch up. And then reach forward and back. And then right now, so here in the studio, here in Pennsylvania right now, it's summertime. Your body's warm, it's late afternoon, and you're in a warm yoga room. Your body will just eat up this pose. See if you can let go of the pose as you've always known it and into something deeper. One more breath and step out. Feet on the floor, maybe hands on your hips, maybe taking a puppy pose if you're on the floor. Breathe and let your body come into a neutral way. I love Kaiwen's taking a few little circles to just like get her body set for the next series of this. Let's do the second set. Right arm bone back. Open up your hand, hold your ankle from the inside. Left arm up in the air. And then start reaching and stretching. Knee down, knee up, and just reach. When you're giving feedback, you always have to come from this higher intention of being for what is important to the person receiving the feedback. What's for them? Like, what do they want for themselves? And point the feedback that way. Switch sides. Left arm goes back. Hold your ankle from the inside. Right arm in the air. You got it. Now stretch. I always have to lift the pit of my belly. That's always a start for me in this one. And then reach. Reach. Always a stop for me in this is that my shoulders are crowding into the front of my body. I've always got to take them back to the back of my body. Gotta stop hunching and muscling it out of my shoulders. Keep reaching, Greg. Stretch for that. You're right at the edge of it. You keep that for 2 more breaths. It's a little softness in the standing knee. Beautiful pose. 1 more breath. Step out. Come to the front of your mat for tree pose. You could do this lying on your back. Okay, give yourself Kaiwen's little hip swish. We'll call this the Kaiwen swish. You got your own yoga move named after you now. Left foot. I think when Debbie teaches class, she's like, just wash it out, wash it out. Left foot down, right foot up. Put your foot to your inner thigh and hands to prayer. Debbie's a great teacher. Then reach your arms overhead, look up and stretch. Breathe. Keep on breathing, keep on stretching. Give yourself the keep, the stop, the start, according to what's important to you, and then switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. Historically, why feedback sometimes has gone wrong for us in our community of teachers learning, left foot up, is the giver of the feedback. A long time ago, we got this bad little trend in our community of giving feedback like that had a harsh sting to it. It was almost fun to be mean. Can't be a part of the process. So what's interesting right now throughout your practice, the way feedback is working is you're actually both sides of it. You're giving it to yourself and you're receiving it from yourself. What does it sound like in your head? Is it the harsh sting or is it something for the better of what you're aiming for yourself? Step to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, chaturanga, so the low push-up position. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot to the inside of your right hand. Tent your fingertips on the floor, and then work yourself up into triangle, 2 straight legs. Not a hyperextended front leg, straight legs, and then open to the ceiling. Keep your breath flowing. So if you're the giver of feedback right now, and then you're also the receiver, what would you give yourself? What would you tell yourself to keep on doing? What would you tell yourself to stop doing? And then what would you say to start doing? 1 more breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat, hands to your hips. Lift your chest up high and fold all the way down. Then check out your feet. See to it that they're parallel to the short sides of your mat. You could move them out wider. Then walk your fingertips in front of you. Make a stretch for it and put your fingertips on the ground. Then inhale, let your body just get a little lighter, and exhale, sink the weight back behind your hips. Keep on breathing. Start letting yourself just surrender into the pose so that maybe you do have, in fact, a discovery of something you would have never known before just doing the pose, uninquired. I did this pose for many, many years, just stretching the backs of my hamstrings. Let your weight come back, though, a little bit. Walk your hands a little bit more, Leslie, and let your hips sink a little bit more. There. You can try it on your fingertips. And then it's like you're clawing the floor and your hips sink back. You may start to feel through your ribs the stretching. So yeah, your hamstrings, but there might be some other stuff. Okay, come on up to standing. Turn and face the front of your mat. Standing single leg forward fold. Some width. So this line on the floor, I'm going to have a foot on one side of it and a foot on the other side. And I'm going to keep some length. So there's about 2 feet between my heel and my toes. I'm going to turn to face the front of my mat. I'm going to work with the big toe mounds, the corners of my feet to get my hips square, and then start folding. So I'm folding, I'm pulling my right hip crease back, and immediately I feel it in the center of my hamstrings of my right thigh, and it just starts radiating as I fold. I'll play with the edge of it for me today. Keep on breathing. Okay, Lena, bring this one over here. So take this here. You're going to take the whole foot here. Will you move your foot here? Like bring it over. Yes, there. 2 straight legs. Right there. Okay, twisting triangle. Left hand on your block or floor. Turn toward the right. Reach your right arm in the air. A little longer in your base sometimes. A little more weight in your left hip. There. And now stretch your back left ribs long. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Stretch back. Left side triangle. Step your left foot to the inside of your left hand. Anchor your feet, your big toe mounds, and straighten your front leg. Reach your hips way, way back. Once you have all that, strong belly, open up and reach for the ceiling. Keep on breathing, bringing softness to your front knee, little softness to your front knee, and deep, deep crease to your left hip. There you go. Another breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat. Feet parallel to the short sides of your mat. Arms behind. Interlace your hands or hold onto a strap. Then lift your chest up high. Forward fold and spill your bound hands overhead. When you get down into the fold, just double check your feet being parallel to the short sides of your mat. And breathe. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. All good setups in the room. See what you got going on there at home. Perfect. You got a towel. Ryan's at home so she can pull in tools from around the house. Breathe. And every breath as you let your hands spill overhead. So if they don't go very far, the strap is your friend. It lets your hands be wider and then they will spill further. Once they are spilling overhead, you just breathe into your ribs in the back. So all the way through your ribs, no extra effort, just the expansion and the relaxing of your lungs. And then the space they take up. And then come on back up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat, standing single leg forward fold. Width and some length. Take a little bit more length, if you will, Greg. And then face the front of your mat and hinge. You just pull your left hip back. Opposite of your left hip pulling back. Chest, stretch it forward. Keep pressing your big toe down. And fold. If your hands come to the floor, great. They might be on blocks or they might be on your hips, wherever it fits the best for you, and breathe. Steady breathing. So what feedback would you give yourself right now? What is there to keep on doing? What should you stop doing right now in this pose? And then is there anything to start doing? When all of that is in place, see what is so. Then twisting triangle, right fingertips to the block or floor. Turn your body toward the left. Keep stretching the sides of your body long. So both of these backside rib bodies, make them long. When you really feel like that's implanted, then you start bringing the turning. Keep weight in your back legs. One more breath. And then hands to the floor for chaturanga. From there, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Stretch back, get some length, neutralize your spine, then high plank and down to your belly on the mat. Locust pose will be first. All the way down to your belly. You can keep your big toes, all 10 of your toenails anchored to the floor. So point your toes and press your toenails into the ground and just keep them there. Then arms out wide like airplane wings and lift up. So with your toenails on the ground, you stretch your body long and lift your chest up. Kaiwen, can you get your baby toenails on the ground? Yep, keep doing that. Might not lift as high, and that's okay because we're looking more for length than we are for crunch and height. One more breath. Come on down. You can shimmy, shake your hips side to side. It's the floor version of the Kaiwen sway. Let's do a second set. Take your arms behind you and interlace your fingertips for the second set and lift up. See if you can become aware of your heels, your tailbone, and your hands pressing back while your chest presses forward. So those points in opposite directions. Heels back, tail back, hands back, chest, forehead forward. One more breath. Come on down. Shimmy your hips from side to side. Then bend your knees and hold your ankles from the outside, palms facing in for the floor bow pose. Let your shoulders roll back. Then kick back and drive your feet up. Back and up. You can peel your baby toes down the outside of your ankle. When you start trying to find them in space, they'll probably go opposite of what you want. So curl them back the way you don't think, so that the mound of your big toe is pressing up. Take another breath and come on down. Wave your feet from side to side. Let's do a second set of this. Bend your knees, hold your ankles. You can hold from the outside with your palms facing in. Resolve to let your arms be at ease and your legs be the strength while they kick back and kick up. Steady breath. Sometimes even in the pose, you'll take a sigh and just let yourself clear the slate and come back to a neutral space and build again. Come on down. Hips or feet, side to side. Hands on the floor beside your bottom ribs, upward facing dog. Move back into downward facing dog. From there, bring your knees to the ground for camel pose. Knees on the ground, toes turned under. This one, so much regular feedback for myself. A lot of stop, letting my belly hang and my butt pop out behind me. A lot of start, lift from my thighs, through my pelvis, the pit of the belly, all the way up to the chest, lift. Start doing that. And keep opening up your chest. Breathe. If there's any knees wide, all the compression squeezing into your butt, stop doing that. We want the back of your pelvis to be broad while you lift. You might find that you're able to reach back to your feet. If you're able to reach for that and keep all the work in place we've set up, then go for that. You got it. Now perhaps relax your head back. One more breath. The way out of this is to inhale and lift your chest to the ceiling. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Just stretch back, shake out your head. Let your shoulders roll around, be at ease. And then just jump through your hands, sit down and roll onto your back. Crawl through, just get through, sit down and roll onto your back. We'll take bridge pose, feet on the floor. Press your feet down, lift your hips up into the air. Once your hips are in the air, let your shoulders just rock from side to side and tuck them under your body. You might even interlace your hands and press your arms straight under your body. Keep the breath flowing. Steady, steady breathing. The beautiful thing about the breathing is, yes, we know that we need it, and it is the most foundational principle that we practice while we're practicing, but you can always start. Half the work of the breath is to just know you're not even doing it anymore and to just start again. Now bring your right knee into your chest as far as it'll go. Stretch it in, reach your toes to the ceiling, and then put it back down to the floor, and then the left side, knee into your chest, hug it in. Up to the ceiling. Can you feel the difference between one toe pressing down and one toe pressing up? Foot on the floor and come on down. Rock your knees from side to side. Let's do a second set of the bridge. Come on up. all the way up into the bridge, and really press your feet, both feet, all four corners down. Without moving a foot, bring your right knee into your chest, up to the ceiling. So we did this once. We're here again. Can you feel the big toe in the floor pressing down, the big toe at the ceiling pressing up, and then hug? Like there's something pressing out on your left inner knee and your right arches. Knee into your chest, foot on the floor. I know. Switch sides. Left knee into your chest, toes up to the ceiling. Hug and breathe. Yes, keep hugging. You'll find your center line this way. You don't have me touching your body like I am Kaiwen's. You imagine that you're getting this pressure. Knee into your chest, come on down. Feet side to side or knees side to side. Okay, we're ready for wheel pose if we are going to progress out of bridge. So set up the bridge, hands on the floor, set them wide. Press your arms straight and your legs straight. You're going to get up there and you're going to find your edge. For some, just stay in the bridge. Bridge is fine. Others, you're ready for the wheel. Press the mound of your palm, your thumb side down, your big toe down, and come on down. Once you're on your back, knees side to side, and set up the next one. Press down and rise up. Press down and rise up. Bring your right knee into your chest. You don't even have to straighten your leg, but try to bring your knee in. Foot on the floor. Come on down, wheels. Knee side to side. And then press down and rise up one more time. All the way up into the wheel. You can bring your left knee into your chest. All the way in and see if you can feel the quality of from the center line. There's pressure out, helping you to discover your core strength. One more breath and come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees open wide. Take some breath. Take some breath. Dead bug pose, so hug your knees in. Then reach up for the outer edges of your feet and pull your knees back to your shoulders. You could rock from side to side. That could feel really good on your lower back. So yeah, it looks just like this. Okay, hug your knees into your chest. Hug your knees into your chest. And then leave your legs in a tabletop. And then reach in front of you. Take a moment to breathe and sink all of your belly down into the mat, particularly the back of your bottom ribs. Then breathe in, and as you exhale, touch your right toes down and bring them up. And just keep on going like that. It seems really simple, but your work is to not let your body tilt from side to side and to keep curled up and both ribs holding even weight. Take 2 more on each side. Can you keep all that happening? It's actually harder than it seems. Last one, hug your knees into your chest. Now, right leg out in front of you, left leg up in the air, so your legs are like scissors. And again, imagine that in the center line, there's a hand against the lifted leg inner thigh and a hand against the hanging inner thigh. They're just pressing out. If you find that your back arches, bend your right knee and let your toes rest on the ground. Then curl up. Now, there's in this exercise, no rocking your body side to side and not letting your ribs arch up. And then we'll pulse 10 times. Just 10, 9, and let your shoulders drop. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep sinking your belly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. How'd that feel? That should get really deep into your abdominals. If it goes well, left finger toes down or hovering, right toes in the air, curl up. If you've never tried it with your foot gently touching, try it. It's not like the no work version, trust me. Here we go. 10, 9, let your head relax. 8, your shoulders relax. 7, 6, blow out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Nice work. Hug your knees. And then rock back to downward facing dog. All the way through to downward facing dog. From the downward dog, right leg forward for pigeon pose. Could also be done lying on your back. Right leg forward, knee bent, shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. So it would be knee directly in front of your right hip, then the shin out to the side. And this foot should stay active and the foot behind. You could take this pose lying on your back. It's another choice. You could take it sitting in a chair. Breathe. And even here, let your shoulders just settle. You don't have to, when I say settle shoulders, you don't have to press them down into your body. The first piece is back. Switch sides. Left leg forward. So in the practice and the exercise of inquiry, here in our practice, using feedback and keep, stop, start, why it is such a foundational part of our entirety of the practice of inquiry is because it has you examine who you are in a person that's giving feedback, because you're giving it all the time. It's not just a thing you do in a structured environment. You're doing it all day long with yourself. You're doing it all day long with the people who you interact with. And if we were to stop and really consider who we actually are for the other person when we're giving feedback, we might come to it with an entirely different approach. For example, one trend I saw in myself was I just had this incredible urge to give feedback for the potential I saw in another person. I thought that was amazing. Like, I just see great things in you. And what I really realized is it actually creates a ton of friction when it's the feedback around what's important for me about somebody else instead of what's important for them about themselves and their own life. Okay, sit on your left hip, swing your right leg around. Let's do seated single leg extension, so a long right leg. If your knee is hanging in the air, support it with a block. And then fold over your long leg, left hand towards your baby toe side. You may have a really bent knee, might be holding more on your shin. That works really nicely too. Many of us just in this position will feel a lot. You might even just be sitting up tall, maybe your knees bent. And this will provide a lot of people some stretch in their back. You have to listen in your own body and feel what's important and feels right in your body. Push yourself. You want to look in each pose for what is your physical edge. A place where you're challenged, but you can still breathe the smooth and steady breath. And then you just want to hold it there. Listen for what's actually happening in your body and give yourself the feedback of keep this, start this, stop that, and then see what's available. Let's switch sides. Left leg long, right leg bending. Face your long left leg, maybe a bent knee and hinge. And just keep breathing. I'm always looking in this pose for creating some evenness in my torso. It's so easy to be kind of like collapsed on one side, and that has you miss like the really deep work that's possible. See where I can go next. And that's the way it is through any pose. You see where you are and you breathe and then see if there's something else. Because only you can know for your body. A teacher can see possibilities, they can give suggestions, but you're the one that will choose from all of those things. Another breath. 2 legs in front of you. Forward fold. Knees can be bent, but what we really want is the feet to look like they're standing on a floor, straight up and down. Go for the baby toes. Long spine. And then you can just start hinging. I always think about this as I feel like I'm driving a chariot or something, like I've got the reins. Is that how you all thought about it? Greg, is that exactly what you were thinking? Must be from my past lives. My former chariot driving days. Come on up, reverse tabletop. I will usually take this in the tabletop because it just feels good, but you can do it in the reverse plank too. Press down, let your shoulders stretch, your hands stretch all the way down, your biceps, your forearms. Breathe as you press down. You get all that nice stretching. One more breath. Sit down. Let's take fish pose. Put your butt on the ground. Make a C shape with each of your hands and put it around each side of your pelvis. Then put your forearms on the ground and activate your feet. Press against your pelvis so the sides of your body get so long. Stretch them longer and then start to let your chest open as you breathe, open toward the ceiling, and then your head can drop back. What we're not looking for is your ribs to sink and your shoulders to push up to the ceiling higher than your chest. A little different? Tuck your chin and roll down onto your flat backs. All the way down onto your flat back. Once you get onto your back, you can roll your feet overhead for plow pose. If getting your feet all the way overhead is just not for you, lie flat on your back with your legs straight up in the air. A block that's long so there's room under each hip, that can be a really great tool here. Flat and stable with the block. Ankles over top of your hips. So if your knees need to soften a little bit, that's fine. Let's move these guys this way. You'll feel the lowest of your abdominal strength kick in just to hold you up straight up and down here. You are welcome. You're welcome. You know that feeling that you've got right now? Maybe at first in the class, I don't know, you felt whatever you felt. But now you've done this whole practice, you've worked with other people, you've been breathing, and now you're somewhere different. Hopefully you can feel and notice that for yourself. It's what brought you back from the last time you were here. Well, a group of our students over the years and a group of our teachers over the years, and an ever-changing group, felt like the whole community they lived in would be a better place to live if everybody had access to doing a practice like this. Sometimes that's just not always possible. If you are in the plow or the shoulder stand, you can bring your feet to the floor behind you, to the plow, and roll onto your flat back. Anyway, that group that felt like everybody needed to have these tools, hug your knees into your chest. You can drop your knees to the left and look to the right. Well, they formed a nonprofit called Aim to Empower, and we've been doing Aim to Empower for about, 6-ish years. And so people that are taking Aim to Empower classes where they are in their communities, not here in the studio, at risk in some way or another, they get to take class free of charge. They're provided a mat, all because of the efforts of our students and teachers. Why? Because of how you feel right now. Switch sides. Many of you share you come to yoga and you keep on coming because you're just a better person for your practice. And wouldn't it be interesting to live in a community where more people were able to take care of themselves in that way each day? If you hear what I'm saying about this and you're like, wait, I want to know more about that and be a part of it, there's always room to be a part of it. You can participate as a volunteer. There's so many ways to be a part of it. Come to the center, Supta Baddha Konasana. You could be a part of it just by practicing like you are now out there in one of the locations as a companion to one of our teachers who are teaching the lesson. Stretch your legs out long and wide for Shavasana. For a lot of us, our yoga practice really resonates when we know we have this quality of giving back to others. So whether it's feedback, it's for yourself or it's for someone else, or whether it's volunteering your time with an organization like Aim to Empower, Or it's just sharing at the dinner table about your yoga practice and why you do it. All of that is the practice of an inquiry, living a life of curiosity and discovery. Organize your physical body to be comfortable on the floor. Once you feel pretty good, take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth and just sigh. Let yourself settle. Just let go. Right now, what would you keep doing? Stop doing. Start doing. Begin to deepen your breath. Perhaps even a breath in with a sigh out, and give your fingers and toes a squeeze, just a physical marker of this space you created. Then hug your knees into your chest. You can roll to your side and then bring yourself up into a sitting position. Pause for a second, just sit still, maybe with your eyes closed. Feel the condition that you've created for yourself. An inquiry is a discovery, asking the question not for an answer, but to discover something new. Inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer position and just pause. 3 times we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumbs to the center of your forehead and breathe in. Exhale. Namaste. Excellent work. Thank you for joining us, Ryan and Allison and anyone at home. Thank you all for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you with me. If you've got any questions about anything going on in your practice or at the studio or about Aim to Empower, our nonprofit, I'm happy to answer your questions. But otherwise, have a rest of your day, a great day. Bye-bye.